All right, question of the day. What is your favorite game where a movement mechanic is the main focus of the game? Now, I don't mean moving a miniature on the board. I mean literally moving things in order to accomplish certain goals. So you can maybe, twist or rotate or move. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite movement-based game. Because today we're talking about Lofoten. This is a game all about moving and getting certain goods on your flotilla of ships, and then you're taking those ships back to your base, and you're putting the goods there and hoping that you can get the best supply of goods. Now, before you hit me with Bryan, that's actually not how it's pronounced. And Bryan, actually, it's disrespectful not to pronounce something correctly. Listen, you know what? Exhibit A, my real last name that's not my stage name. I defy you to get it right the first 7 times. You won't. So, I don't know if this is pronounced as Lofoten. I'm just pronouncing it as if I was ordering something from Kringla Bakery in Epcot, right? I don't know. I'm just trying my best. I want that sweet thing with the cream in the middle and the strawberries on top, and I'm just going to butcher it, and I'm trying not to. So, if you do know the correct pronunciation without snark, let me, or you know what? Heck, I'm feeling frisky. With snark, let me know in the comments below how this game is actually pronounced, and we'll go from there. Now, you might say, Bryan, you could just easily look this up. I'm still going to get it wrong, okay? You hear my accent. I'm still going to get it wrong. So, this is a game all about moving and manipulating left, right, and twisting in order to get the goods that are between you and your opponent, and to get them twisted back around to where they're facing you so that you can take them and score them for credit. So let's take a look at this, how it plays, what it does. We'll come back up, talk final thoughts right now. All right, this is Lofoten set up for 2 players, obviously because it's a 2-player game. Now, you have the board right here in the middle, showing each side, gives you directions on what you can do with a right card and a left card. We'll cover that in a minute. You're going to set up these order tiles in the middle there for the different merchandise, and then everybody's going to get their board here with their fleet with a card on the left, card on the right. Now, placement matters in this game. That's what this game is all about, is placement. Now, it is a majority scoring game, which are based on those order cards over there. But essentially what you're going to do is you're going to have 3 cards in your hand at all times. You cannot rearrange the order of these cards. However, when you draw a new card, you get to decide if you're going to place it on the right or the left, which essentially shifts your hand a little bit. Now, how this works is, if you were to play a card from your right, based on the number here, you can do 2 types of movements. You can move to the right, or you can spin clockwise. If you play a card from your left, you can move to the left up to that number, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and you can split that and do this. Now, what you're trying to do is you're trying to line up these cards with these orders. So if we were able to get this here, you would place this on this tile. And then if you were able to get this turned back around to you using your maneuvers and manipulations, you would take this and then you would place it over there on one of the order cards. Now, if there's not an order there already, or a type of this good over there at all on the 4 cards already, you get to choose where this goes. So maybe gold is worth 7 this game, or 8, or 3, or 4. However, you can also play a card out of the middle of your hand. And if you play it to the middle, let's just say you're set up like this, this card would go down here and slot in, and you would get to take advantage of the special action. This would be, you can take a rotation left or right. There are 4 different special actions: taking a coin, moving left to right, and then discarding one of these tiles out here to put a different one out there. The reason that matters is because you want to manipulate and move and twist as much as you can so that you can get these tiles on here so that you can load that up over there. Now, this is the base game. There's a couple of modules in there with Jarls and all sorts of stuff, but we're talking about just the base game, as that's what you're going to play when you first start the game. When you draw back up, you'll be able to put it on the left side or the right side, obviously choosing which one will be your new middle card. Your former left card could become your new middle card, or your former right card could become your new middle card, or your middle card could stay the same if you play right and put right. Now, what happens is, if you choose to, and you don't have enough movement, let's say I need 3 movements, but I only have this 2 on my right, you could spend a coin to add that movement. You'll play until the tiles here are gone, and then you'll score the majorities over here based on the number, not the total tiles. Whoever has the most points wins the games, and that is how you play Lofoten. So that's it. It's actually pretty simple. Now, again, this is just the base game. We're not doing the extra stuff of, the Jarls and all that sort of stuff.
But the base game itself, I feel like, is enough of a game itself that even without those expansions, without those modules or variants or whatever you want to call it, it's enough of a game to review. So let's talk, as we always do, art, then art direction, and then gameplay. Now, art in this game is fairly simple, right? You've just got the 5 goods and the ships. Now, I do like that the ships are those removable ships because you can upgrade them in one of the modules. However, it's kind of annoying sometimes that you think you've got them all placed down and flat and pressed down, and then you go to stick a card in and it pops the whole thing up. Not a big problem. It's not a gameplay breaker, but it's just kind of like, I wish there was a better way to do this. Now, again, I get it because there's the upgradable ships, but still. The game, it looks okay. You know, it's not something that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, best art of the year, Lofoten, right? It's the 4 ships kind of as side view. It's the goods, and that's really it. There's not a whole lot else other than the cards, right? But where it shines as far as art goes is art direction, because everything kind of makes sense, right? You have your 3 cards, you're holding them, and if you play the card to your right, well, you've got the little marker on your side of the board that shows you, okay, I can move to the right or I can twist this direction. Play the one to the left, I can move this direction or twist this way. Then you have the numbers on there. It just makes sense. The only thing that can possibly get a little bit tricky is what do those special powers do, except they're pretty simple. You take a coin, you move, you twist, you discard. It's fairly simple. So I love a game when symbols make sense without having to teach them, where people go, what does that mean? Right? And you may have to explain it the first time of you know, you can move left or right, or you can twist left or right, or you can discard one of those goods, so hopefully you can put out one that you want more. But at the end of the day, this is not something you have to keep going back to the reference guide and be like, wait, no, what does this do again? It's pretty straightforward. So art direction is great. Now, as far as gameplay, this is an interesting concept. I like the idea that, yes, you're Vikinging it up or you're Nordicing it up, right? You're going around, you're getting these goods, you're bringing them back to your people. But really and truly, it doesn't matter, right? The theme is not so much like make or break. It's not like a Blood Rage where like, oh, I get what we're doing, right? It's more like, hey, this could be, pick a civilization that involves boats, right? It could be Micronesia. It could be any of these sort of civilizations where you're like, I need resources, you need resources, but my people need them more, so I'm going to go try to get them faster, right? So essentially, the theme is cool, but it's not so much the most important thing. But what's cool is the whole twisting, moving mechanic, right? Like, I really need sheep, so I need to move here and twist here, and I can get the sheep onto my ships, but it's going to take me another turn to get them off my ship. So it's a cool concept. It's a little light, the base game. I get the Jarl's expansion and all that sort of stuff, but it's a little light to say, okay, this is going to dethrone, what's the WizKids one, the National Park one that was a great 2-player game, or Lost Cities. It's not going to dethrone those for best 2-player games of all time, or like Star Wars Rebellion. But it is pretty solid because it does something different, right? Like, instead of like, well, you play this card and you get this. No, you play this card and you can move and position. I like that. I think that's a pretty cool concept. Now, is it a game I'm going to grab off my shelf every day? Absolutely not. It's a solid 7.5, right? Because the art's just, it's not there really. It's not bad art. Don't hear me say it. It's not bad art. What I mean is there's just not enough of it to really make the theme come through, if that makes any sense. But as far as gameplay, the new twists and turns it does do are enough to where you go from just an average game to, oh, that's pretty cool, but it's not something you're going to be like, oh, I have to play this all the time. That's so cool and so unique. So it's a solid above average game, 7.5. I like the twisting. I like the moving. I like the fact that you need to get that and you can block somebody by going ahead and grabbing it if you have that card in your fleet. But again, it's not the game you're going to go, dude, you have to play this. It's unbelievable, right? Solid, above average, 7.5 game. Lofoten. I'm Bryan Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, etc. at Dice Tower Bryan. And the next time you see me, I'll be live in studio with Carla down there in Miami. Homestead, I should say. Having fun. So we'll see you soon. Make sure to check out the Dice Tower merch store. Check out the pre-orders that are up right now for the Dice Tower mugs, the board game breakfast mugs we're going to get those back in stock because they were such a hot seller and we sold out of them almost instantly. But we want to get those back in stock so that you can order them. So check that out right now. DicetowerStore.com. I'm Bryan Drake. Until next time, I'll see you live and in studio.